Welcome back to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. If you didn't know that, you should know it by now. Well, this is going to be about Raw and Superstars for this week. I haven't checked for the... Well, actually, I did check, but I haven't seen anything about the main event, Dark Match main event for Raw. But here we go. After this past Thursday's FCW tapings in Orlando, two top former independent wrestling stars are now feuding in WWE Developmental. Seth Rollins, formerly known as Tyler Black from Ring of Honor, and Dean Ambrose, whose name was John Moxley. Ambrose also made his FCW TV debut against Hunico. WWE Hall of Famer Roddy Piper was there tonight for the Raw taping, actually Raw live event. Raw 3-hour broadcast at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, for tonight's Raw telecast. And he brought back the Piper's Pit. He also posted on the following Twitter this afternoon. It's always quiet when I first come to work. Everybody is very respectful. The calm before, fill in the blank. Paul Bearer is scheduled for an autograph signing on Saturday, July 23rd from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock at the Wrestling Universe, 3429 Francis Lewis Boulevard in Flushing, New York. Visit WrestlingUniverseOnline.com for more info. It was reported earlier today that WWE has parted ways with Michael Tarver, Jacob Novak, but not from WWE themselves, but from only Florida Championship Wrestling. They were removed off the website. But Buck Dixon, Buddy Stetcher, and Ethan Levin, they are also withdrawn from the FCW website as well. Their respective bios were removed from the Florida Championship Wrestling roster page either last Thursday or Friday. Tarver and Novak are still on WWE.com. Zack Ryder was interviewed by Newsday.com's Alfonso Castillo to promote tonight's Raw from Long Island, New York, which is his hometown. Here are some of the highlights of what Ryder said about how his True Island story came about on the YouTube show came about. What happened was that about 3 months ago, I was sick of just not being on TV, sick of just sitting in the background on the sidelines, so I created my opportunity. I created my own YouTube account. My parents got me a flip cam for Christmas, and I started to make my own shows. And 16 episodes later, more than 1 million views, it's starting to pick up. All my days off is basically doing that show. It's thinking of things and messing around with my friends. They'll help me film stuff, like the Superstars general manager. Just things to create controversy in a funny, lighthearted way. I think I had no creative output before, so they really didn't know who I was. I had a couple of matches here and there, but I never really had a chance to show who I really was, my personality, and show how charismatic I was. Now the show is taking off. Guys like John Cena, The Miz, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Chris Jericho are all praising me on the Twitter and stuff like that. I wrote the bonus forward to Chris Jericho's book. It's just unbelievable. I think everyone is starting to notice. And he comments whether he's gotten heat from management for doing the show. At first he was afraid to, and he thought, I'm going to get in trouble, but I'm not trying to cause any problems. I just want to get my name out there and create my own opportunity and make some money for the company and for myself. Now they're really getting behind it. Like you said, there are signs every single week. My t-shirts are selling out, and I'm not even on TV. It's unheard of, so I think they have to get behind it. As far as I know, I haven't been punished. But before I started the YouTube show, I was at the bottom of the card. The bottom, like scum of the earth. How much worse of a position could I have dropped to, you know? So I had to go up. That was my mindset. I was just sick of being at the bottom, knowing I could be so much more. It was all or nothing, basically. And he comments working his way up the WWE ranks. I guess I'm grateful I have a job in the WWE, but that's my plan my whole life, so it's kind of expected for me. So I'm not satisfied with my spot on the card. I definitely want to move up, and that's what I'm going to do. Or at least I'm going to try my very best and go out swinging. I'm not going to just sit back and twiddle my thumbs away. I should have done that. Or I should have done this and should have done that. But as a matter of fact, when my time comes to an end, I'll know I have no regrets. I've been under contract for 5 years. I've been on television for 4, and that's pretty long time. So many people come and go in 4 years, but I have all the time in the world. I'm only 26 years old, and I'm one of the youngest guys on the roster. I'm not going to stop until everyone in this world knows who Zack Ryder is. And the dark match main event that I spoke of earlier of tonight's Raw was advertised as John Cena versus The Miz in a street fight for the WWE Championship, according to the Arena website. For those who missed it, on Sunday, Tough Enough winner Andy Levine noted on Twitter that he was headed to Monday's Raw show. He didn't state that he will be appearing on the show, but I'm curious to see what type of following or follow-up, if any, they do with him. Happy birthday goes to former WWF star Jacques Rougeau, other known as the Mountie. He turned 51 today. He was born June 13th, 1960. Also, happy birthday go to former WWF star Virgil, a.k.a. Mike Jones. He turned 49 today. He was also born June 13th, 1962. Former Ring of Honor and ECW champion Jerry Lynn also had a birthday today, on Sunday. He turned 48. He was born on June 12th, 1963. 48, really? Last check, Lynn was still recovering from back surgery, but one would think he should be medically cleared to return. Former pro wrestler Mike Enos of the Destruction Crew from AWA and Beverly Brothers tag team fame celebrated his 48th birthday on Saturday. He was born June 11th, 1963. And former pro wrestling legend Magnum TA, a.k.a. Terry Allen, he turned 52 on Saturday. He was born June 11th, 1959. Advertised dark match main event for Raw was actually for SmackDown. Randy Orton and Christian versus Sheamus and Wade Barrett. Well, they had that match on. They had some sort of a match on Raw tonight. They can always go with a feuding tag partner bit, but I guess that match will be changed as it was. Here's hoping they don't decide to play a rib on Mark Henry or anything else that causes the live crowd to sit there for an extra 20 minutes, only not to get a dark match event. WWE Hall of Famers Jim Duggan, Bob Orton, Greg Valentine, and Sonny are also scheduled to be part of the Clash at the Cove event in South Bend, Indiana on August 20th. More info visit minorleaguebaseball.com. Wow, so it must be a baseball event. The AWA television show that will air on ESPN Classics tonight at 11 p.m. with the following matches listed: The Trooper versus Carlson, The Destruction Crew versus Tony Leon and Anderson, Sergeant Slaughter versus Jones, Russian Brute versus Bennett, Magnificent Mimi, and Colonel De Beers versus Candy Devine and Baron Von Raschke. Well, I found out that that episode will not air tonight because that report was on over the weekend. WWE Divas Kelly and Bella Twins will make their appearances tomorrow morning on The Price is Right. A WWE website stories note that they will present special WWE and SummerSlam themed prizes to a contestant. And they also did that they advertised it on the broadcast prior to a match on Raw tonight. And finally, your spoilers for this Thursday, Superstars Online, WWE.com. And they had registered a trademark for the phrase, sooner or later everyone taps, mainly for merchandise use. WWE Tough Enough trainer Bill DeMott wrote the following on Twitter regarding speculation about him working more with WWE. Number one rumor mill is smoking hot with tales of me returning to WWE in-ring action. I have to say that rumors, much like bones, can be broken. See, you all think I said no. All I said was rumors and bones were made to be broken. My plate is very full with that WWE projects, and I'm happy. I believe he does have a wrestling match. As I read on one of the dirt sheets, that he does have a match scheduled in Arizona. I've forgotten what company it's for, but I will let you know later whenever I find out myself. And I'm officially, this is to go on what he's saying, I'm officially announcing I'm training for something. Take that any way you want it, but I'll be ready for it. The law firm of Gurewitz, Lebo, and Corrick, PC, issued the following press release announcing a $5 million settlement with WWE following an incident involving a WWE employee in 2007. Well, they got paid off this week from the court settlement from New York, New York. PRWeb.com, June 12, 2011, Gurewitz, Libido, and Corrick, PC, a leader among personal injury and medical malpractice firms in the New York area, recently settled a case, index number 13451/08, Kimberly Benson versus World Wrestling Federation Entertainment. Now, they still got the WWF in there, so they got WWFE Incorporated. And Matthew T. Yekrin, who's the guy who was working for WWE and injured her in a vehicle that he was driving when he struck her vehicle. $4 or $5 million involving a knee injury caused by a low-speed, low-impact motor vehicle accident. According to court documents on November 2nd, 2007, Kimberly's car was struck in a side swipe collision by a vehicle operated by Matthew Yekrin, an employee of WWE. As a result of the low-impact motor vehicle accident that occurred at a low rate of speed, Miss Benson suffered a knee injury. But get this was a recurrent injury. She was already injured in the knee. According to the case, Yekrin was driving a commercial van in the financial district of downtown Manhattan. While attempting to pass traffic, he backed up and then struck Miss Benson's Jeep in the back driver's side bumper with the side of his van. Damage to both vehicles were minimal. Court documents show that Miss Benson was 41 years old, mother and phlebotomy manager with a pre-existing knee injury, suffered a fracture of the cartilage in her knee, and underwent several surgical procedures in addition to the pain, degeneration of soft tissue, and difficulty ambulating. Benson also developed complex regional pain syndrome, CRPS, aka reflex symptomatic dystrophy, RSD, a debilitating chronic pain condition which rendered her disabled and incapable of working permanently. Benson sued World Wrestling Federation Entertainment and their driver, Matthew Yekrin, for past and future medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. The case went to trial, and the defense argued causation, the low-impact accident that occurred at such low rate of speed could not have caused an injury. Okay, after 4 weeks of trial, both parties settled the case. Benson recovered $5 million from WWE, and Matthew Yekrin, Andrew L. Libido, the attorney for Benson, from Gurewitz, Libido, and Corrick. PC was satisfied with the result. Of course, he gets 40% of that. Kimberly's life and the life of her daughter will never be the same due to the accident. They refused to settle the case before trial because they knew Kimberly deserved justice. and they were willing to fight as long as needed to ensure she was justly compensated. Trial was conducted by Jeff S. Corrick and Nicholas Bagley. Details on next week's 3-hour Raw. WWE Hall of Famer and tonight's special guest, General Manager, announced on Raw tonight that next week's 3-hour Raw show from the First Mariner Arena in Baltimore, Maryland will have a fans picket theme. Also said that the fans will pick the matches, the stipulations, and everything else. WWE's website is currently advertising superstars from both brands for next week's show as well. Before Raw tonight, the following 2 matches were taped. 4 superstars this Thursday. Zack Ryder, hometown of Long Island, New York, got his match and defeated Primo Colon. Drew McIntyre defeated Vladimir Kozlov. And what you've all been waiting for, Raw results, June 13, 2011. WWE All-Stars on Raw kicks off with a pyro and music going off in the arena as Michael Cole welcomes us to the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York. Jerry Lawler hypes Stone Cold as tonight's special guest manager. Austin already has made CM Punk versus John Cena as tonight's main event. We go to the ring and out comes the Miz in a suit. Duh, what else does it comes out in? Unless he's actually wrestling. They show clips from last week as Miz enters the ring. Miz talks about tonight's big show and mentions how he won the main event last week on Raw. Miz says he's the all-time WWE All-Star, but that's been obvious for a long time. Miz says, you would have to be a stupid moron not to realize that. In other words, you would have to be an Alex Riley, Miz says. Miz calls Riley a fraud and says he will expose him more than a tweet from Anthony Weiner at Capital Punishment. Miz says that he will teach Riley one last lesson before the pay-per-view. Miz tells Riley to watch closely as he calls out Stone Cold. Miz says that there's always an Attitude Era star trying to steal his spotlight, jealous of his success. Miz says that Austin owes him an apology. Miz says his show will not get started until... And then the glass breaks music, and out comes Stone Cold marching to the ring. Austin comes out to a big pop and hits the turnbuckles for the fans. Miz eyeballs Austin as he goes around the ring. Austin mocks Miz's weak attempt at calling him out. Austin starts ripping on Miz's look and what he's wearing. Austin tells Miz to shut up. Austin says the night after WrestleMania, he let Miz run his mouth in the ring because he wanted to see what he had. If he was that good, Austin gives Miz some credit and calls him a silver-tongued devil. Austin says when it came time to fight, Miz ran to the back. Miz tries to interrupt, but Austin cuts him off. Austin tells Miz to keep his mouth shut while his is moving. Austin says Miz is going to respect him one way or another. Austin says he came here to run the show, but he's got an itchy, tricky trigger finger, and he's got to stun. If he's got to stun Miz, he will. He also asks the fans if he wants to stun them. If you want me to stun the Miz, give me a hell yeah. Several times. Well, Austin talks about fighting with Alex Riley months ago, but gives him credit. Also says Riley can talk, he can take an ass whooping, and can give one. Also says he's so impressed with Riley that he might be a bigger superstar than Miz one day. Miz asks if he can speak now, and Austin says no. Austin asks if he should stun this old bitch. Give him a hell yeah, of course. That's what I just said. The crowd responds accordingly. Austin asks Miz if he and Riley are going to whip each other's ass this Sunday. Austin grabs Miz by his tie and says he's going to set something up for Miz and Riley. Austin is putting Miz and Riley in the ring with Roddy Piper for the Piper's Pit tonight. Austin says he's through talking with The Miz, and if he knows what's good for him, he will take his ass out of here now. Miz stares down Austin while moving towards the ring. Austin tells him he better get to stepping. Austin tells him now is not the time to be a hero. Miz finally rings, and Austin says it's the best decision he's ever made. Austin says this is Monday Night All-Stars, or whatever the hell they want to call it. Austin says he is making the rules tonight when Alberto Del Rio's music interferes. Del Rio comes into the ring driving a 2009 Porsche. 2 years ago, Porsche. Okay. Del Rio makes his way to the ring and introduces himself to Austin. Del Rio wants to make it official tonight. He is the greatest superstar of his time, Stone Cold. Passing the torch to the greatest superstar of all time, Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio says he heard Austin wants to see him. Del Rio steps up to Austin and says it must be because he wants to see the greatness up close. Del Rio says it's his destiny, but Austin cuts him off. Austin says he isn't much of a fortune teller, isn't a psychic, and doesn't have a crystal ball, but he smells an ass whooping, and Del Rio's immediate destiny. Also says there's a bit of some bitch backstage who's wanted Del Rio's ass since he took Big Show out of action. Austin introduces Del Rio's opponent. Out comes next is Kane. And your first match of the night, Kane versus Alberto Del Rio. Pyro goes off, and Kane makes his way to the ring for tonight's first match as they cut to commercial. Back from break, and we'll see replays from 3 weeks ago, where Big Show was taken out by Del Rio's car. And the bell rings, and Kane charges Del Rio in the corner with elbows and right hands. Kane drops Del Rio and hits a drop kick for a 2 count. Del Rio slides out of a slam and takes Kane down with an arm bar. Del Rio continues to work on Kane's arm and stomps away for a 2 count. Kane fights up from the mat and sends Del Rio over the top rope into the floor. Del Rio runs back in the ring, and Kane drops him with a right hand and a big boot. Kane with a splash in the corner and a side slam. 2 count for Kane. Kane climbs up to the top, leaps, but Del Rio moves out of the way. Del Rio with a kick and a cross arm breaker. Del Rio reaches for the ropes and finally breaks the hold. Del Rio won't let go, and the referee disqualifies him. Winner of the match, Kane. After the bell, Del Rio continues to keep the armbar breaker applied on Kane. All of a sudden, Big Show's music hits and he runs to the ring. Show tackles Del Rio and unloads with right hands. Ricardo Rodriguez jumps on Show, but takes more right hands. Del Rio leaves the ring as Big Show hammers away on Rodriguez. Kane tries to pull Show off Ricardo, but he won't stop hitting him. Kane finally gets Show from beating on Ricardo. Austin comes out to the stage and says he knows Del Rio can still hear him. Austin announces Show versus Del Rio for Sunday's Capital Punishment. And that's the bottom line. We see officials tending to Rodriguez, who is still laid out in the ring because he's selling the punch from Big Show. Randy Orton will return to Raw tonight. Back from commercial we go. Back from the break, we see Ricardo Rodriguez was taken out on a stretcher during the commercial. Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and Wade Barrett versus Sin Cara, Daniel Bryan, and Ezekiel Jackson is up next. We go to ringside, and fans are putting brown paper bags over their heads as Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, and WWE Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett are waiting. Ezekiel Jackson, Daniel Bryan, and Sin Cara makes his entrance to join their team. Cara and Rhodes start things out. Cara starts out with kicks and an elbow off the second rope. Bryan is tagged in and then continues to assault on Cody. Bryan takes out Ted from the apron, but turns around and an attack from Rhodes. Cody tags in Ted, who drop kicks Bryan. Ted continues the assault and tags in Barrett. Barrett lays Bryan out for 2 count. Bryan fights out of a chin lock, but Barrett hits him with knees to the gut. Bryan runs the ropes and Barrett kicks him hard. Barrett with a big slam for a 2 count. Zeke and Barrett have words. Barrett knocks Kara off the apron with a big right. Brian tags in Zeke now. Zeke comes in and lays Barrett down with the shoulder. Zeke with a big splash in the corner and a series of scoop slams on Barrett. Zeke goes for the torture rack, but Cody and Tay come in to attack for the save. He sends them out to the floor with a back body drop over the top rope. Zeke lifts Brian high and throws him over the ropes onto Ted and Cody. Onto the floor, Zeke drops Barrett again and tags in Kara. Kara hits Barrett. Barrett with a big crossbody from up high for the pin and the win. Jerry Lawler hypes tonight's Piper's Pit segment with The Miz and Alex Riley as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Hornswoggle's in the ring. They did the footage with them shooting T-shirts at the fans like they do at live events. We hear R-Truth coming out. Truth mocks Hornswoggle for shooting shirts to the little Jimmies and Jennies. Truth says it sounds like one big ball of fun. He likes having fun. Truth asks Hornswoggle if he can try it. If he can try, and enters the ring. Truth tells Horny not to be afraid of him. Truth says he's a good R-Truth. And that was his face. Okay, let's what? Okay, Truth says he's going to beat John Cena on Sunday and become the new WWE champion. Truth tells the fans they should be booing themselves. Hornswoggle aims the shirt gun at Truth and shoots him with it. Truth grabs Horny and tries to get him to calm down. Truth shakes Hornswoggle's hand and then kicks him in the head. Didn't hurt him much because it was more like just a light push. Austin appears on the big screen and tells Truth to pick on someone his own size, someone like this. And then John Morrison appears on the Titantron and is right beside Stone Cold. Also says before Truth gets seen on Sunday, he's got Morrison tonight, and that's the bottom line. And they cut Stone Cold off. Truth stomps on the Hornswoggle and leaves the ring as Lawler comes in to check on Hornswoggle. Still to come tonight, John Cena versus CM Punk for your main event. Back to commercial. Santino Marella versus Sheamus. Then they cut to commercial, back from break, and Sheamus and Santino already in the ring. Santino starts off with some comedy, but Sheamus lays it out. Sheamus starts the attack and wails away with forearms on the ropes. Sheamus runs the apron and hits Santino with a big knee. Sheamus with a short clothesline and a 2 count. Sheamus slams Santino in the corner, but Santino starts hawking up and comes back with right hands. Santino trips Sheamus and goes for the hip toss, but gets clotheslines instead. Santino comes back again, hits the hip toss, and goes for the Cobra. Sheamus tries to block it with a big kick. Santino dodges the kick and hits the Cobra for a 2 count. Sheamus lays Santino out with a brogue kick. Sheamus applies a cloverleaf submission on Santino and makes him tap for the win. So, I guess he's trying to show some power. I hate to say it, but KKK, white power. Alright, Michael Cole leads us for a preview for a new USA Network TV show. And then we see Randy Orton backstage heading to the ring. Back to the commercial. Back from commercial, we see footage from 2 weeks ago SmackDown, where special referee Christian hit Randy Orton with a world title belt after the match. Well, for the finish. We go to the ring, and out comes World Heavyweight Champion Orton to a big pop. Orton goes to talk, but he has a bad mic. He gets a new one and says live TV is awesome. Introduces himself to us and says he hasn't been gone too long, but it feels damn good to be back on Raw. Orton says you would think he is satisfied, but he isn't. Orton isn't satisfied because he knows Christian is in the building tonight. Orton calls out Christian out to the ring and promises that he just wants to talk. Orton promises not to RKO, or punt Christian. Orton says all he wants to do is just talk. Christian doesn't come for a while. Orton says he lied. he would hit Christian as soon as he could. Christian appears on the big Titantron, and he says Orton's entire career has been handed to him on a silver platter. Christian says he has fought for everything he's got. Christian calls the fans idiots. Christian asks how many fans want to see him come out and face Orton. Now the crowd cheers. Christian says he doesn't care what the fans want, and he isn't coming to the ring. Orton says it's a shame that Edge isn't here because he could carry Christian to the ring because he's carried him for more than 17 years. That pissed Christian off, and now he's headed to the ring. Orton gets ready for a fight as Christian's music hits. Out he comes. Christian stops about middle of the ramp and starts backing up. Orton leaves the ring and goes after Christian, but security comes out and stops him. Email alert from Raw Anonymous manager goes off, and Cole steps up to read the Raw general manager's announcement. GM suggests that Orton leaves the building for the rest of the night so he doesn't get hurt. Orton is pissed and doesn't want to leave. GM threatens to strip Orton of the world title. Austin appears on the big screen and tells Christian it won't be that easy. Austin makes Christian versus Rey Mysterio for next, and back to commercial. Back for commercial, and Booker T comes out to join commentary. Christian versus Rey Mysterio. Christian waits in the ring as Rey Mysterio comes out to a nice pop from the crowd. Bell rings and they go at it. Christian beats Rey down. Rey runs the ropes and slides under Christian's legs. Christian stops Rey's comeback and takes it to the corner. Christian with a big chops now. Christian charges in the corner, but Rey ducks. Rey goes for the 619, but Christian clotheslines him for a 2 count. Christian takes Rey to the mat. Now Rey fights to his feet. Rey goes for the springboard, but Christian shoves him over the top rope and to the floor. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Christian has Mysterio back on the mat. Rey fights with elbows, but Christian throws him face first into the turnbuckles. Christian chokes Rey with the ropes now. Referee calls for the bell and disqualifies Christian for not stopping on by the 5 count. So Rey wins by DQ. After the bell, Christian gets pissed, slams Mysterio. Christian goes up top, but Rey meets him, and they fight on the corner. Rey backdrops Christian to the mat and goes up top. CM Punk runs down, and Rey sees him. Rey leaps to the floor and takes out Punk. Mason Ryan, David Otunga, Michael McGillicuddy of the Straight Edge Nexus are out now. And Rey drops Christian for a 619. Fights off Nexus. Rey goes for a 619 on Christian. But Mason catches his legs and rams him into the ring post. Mason then with a backbreaker now. Mason rolls Rey back into the ring where Christian waits. Christian hits the kill switch on Mysterio and lays him out before leaving the ring. Austin is shown backstage on the phone, and Vicky interrupts and walks up saying, "Excuse me." Yells it a second time, and Austin doesn't like it. Dolph is with Vicky. She asks Austin if Dolph can have a U.S. title match against Kofi Kingston at Capital Punishment. Austin grants him a request, but stipulation is Dolph needs to drop Vicky as his manager. Dolph struggles with the idea. Austin talks about going to the top and dropping Ted DiBiase when he was ringmaster. Austin asks him if he wants a match or not. Austin goes on, and Dolph says he will drop her. Austin says he has the match. Austin tells them to relax. He already made their match earlier today. He was just having fun. Austin walks off while Vicky is pissed at Dolph. Back to commercial. And Dolph is in a match later on in a tag match. And this match is R-Truth versus John Morrison. But it actually does not happen. Back from the break, R-Truth comes out as we see footage of him injuring John Morrison last month. Morrison's music hits, but now he doesn't come out. His music stops and starts up again. Truth waits, but there's no Morrison. Truth asks Morrison what's up and calls him out to fight. Truth says if Morrison won't come to him, he's bringing the fight there. Truth storms up the ramp and running his mouth. Truth goes to the back, and we go to announcers to talk about what just happened. Truth is backstage now looking for Morrison, and we see WWE officials checking on Morrison as he's lying on the ground who was holding his neck. Truth asks what happened. All the little Jimmies came to see a great match. Truth guesses we won't get to see that match now. Truth tells Morrison to say he got by the future WWE champion. Truth walks off, and referee Nunzio tends back to Morrison. Yes, that's Nunzio. He's now a referee. Truth shoves a big rolling cart into Morrison. Officials call for the paramedics as Truth looks on and rams a look like a rolling cart of some type. They hold the old speakers and some of their stuff in, and he tells take that, little Jimmy, and then Truth runs off. Well, the way he ran off was very similar to a hurricane. Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger versus Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston. Here's the match that Dolph was put in. We go to the ring, and out comes Dolph Ziggler. Vicky Guerrero is right beside him, yelling on the way to the ring. We cut to a promo video with highlights from Dolph's WWE career. Out next comes Dolph's partner, Jack Swagger. Evan Bourne is out first for his team, followed by WWE United States Champion Kofi Kingston. Dolph starts things off with Kofi and applies a headlock. Dolph drops Kofi with a shoulder and runs the ropes. Kofi stops him with an elbow to the face. Swagger gets a cheap shot on Kofi, allowing Dolph to take back control. Swagger is tagged in for some double teaming. Swagger continues to beat Kofi down on the mat. Kofi tries to fight out of a hole, but gets suplexed to the mat for a 2 count by Swagger. Swagger rams Kofi back in the corner and whips him hard to the other side of the ring. Swagger goes for the big splash, but for the second rope, but Kofi puts his knees up. Bourne is tagged in. He unloads on Swagger and takes out Dolph. Bourne with a close 2 count on Swagger. Swagger applies the ankle lock, but Bourne rolls out. Kofi hits Trouble in Paradise from the apron, while the referee wasn't looking on Swagger, and Bourne hits Airborne on the down Swagger for the pin and the win. WWE congratulates The Rock for winning the biggest ass kicker award at Spike's Guys Choice Awards over the weekend. Up next is Piper's Pit with Alex Riley and The Miz as they go to break. Back from commercial, and out comes WWE Hall of Famer Roddy Piper to his bagpipe music, where everything is set up for Piper's Pit. Piper talks about WrestleMania 2, where he dropped Mr. T like a bad habit. Well, it was a boxing match. Mr. T actually won, but Piper signed him for the DQ. Okay, the Miz's music interrupts, and out he comes. Miz asks really a few times, and says he doesn't live in the past. Miz says it upsets him when people compare him to Piper. Piper cuts him off and says there will never be another Roddy Piper. Piper calls him a wannabe. Miz says he's nothing like Piper. For one thing, he's actually been WWE champion. For another, he won the main event at WrestleMania. And his episodes of The Real World were far more entertaining than anything Piper did in They Live. That was a movie that he did. And along with some other movies, he's also had Piper says he never saw Real World because he was busy living in the real world. Piper wants to talk about the future, Sunday's pay-per-view, and Alex Riley. Piper introduces Riley, and out he comes to a nice pop. Piper shakes Alex's hand. A Riley chant breaks out from the crowd as they pause. He actually isn't too enthused about it, and then actually does. Eventually changes his attitude. Piper asks Riley what made him realize he had enough abuse from Miz. Riley talks about how Miz took him under his wing, that he respected all that. Riley says Miz was using him to make sure he remained WWE champion and was never his friend. Riley asks why should he help the Miz when he can beat him. Miz interrupts and reminds everyone that he fired Riley. Piper and Miz go back and forth on the mic. Piper says Riley will change the questions on Sunday and it will be awesome. Actually, he said, walked over and said something. Right in his face. Miz asks Piper how much money he wants to bet that he destroys Riley on Sunday. Riley says that won't happen. And he thinks Piper can beat Miz right now. Really? Asks Miz. Miz asks the fans if they think Piper can beat him right now. And the crowd goes, wow, hell yeah, good idea. Miz offers to put up $1,000 of his own money right now on a match against Piper. Miz says he will even wear his suit during the match and tells Piper to put up or shut up. Piper says, how about $5,000? As Piper puts up his own $5,000. Austin appears on the big screen and asks if he wants to see Piper versus Miz tonight. Give him a hell yeah. Austin makes it official with each man putting up $5,000 and names Alex Riley the special guest referee, and they cut to commercial. As the Miz throws a fit in the ring. Match next, and back from the break. And we see footage of the Miz versus Piper on WWE All-Stars video game, which actually sucked. Piper and the Miz are now in the ring with special referee Alex Riley. Miz argues with Riley as Piper attacks him from behind. Miz turns it around in the corner and wails away on Piper. Miz argues more with Riley and gets poked in the eyes by Piper. Piper applies a sleeper but gets rammed in the corner. Miz unloads with punches and kicks on Piper in the corner. Miz and Riley get into it again, and this time they go at it. Piper takes advantage, rolls up Miz for the win with a small package and the cash. But neither one of them had cash there on hand. Go figure. The storyline. After the match, Miz gets pissed and goes for revenge, but gets thrown out of the ring. Piper and Riley celebrate as Miz flips out of ringside. Miz stares them down from the ramp, and they go to replays. Still come tonight, Punk versus Cena, back to commercial. They air footage of Kelly and the Bella Twins on The Price is Right for tomorrow morning. And speaking of Kelly, this is her 5th year anniversary of her joining WWE. Bella Twins, Alicia Fox, Rosa Mendez, Tamina, Maurice, and Melina in your first ever 14 Diva Tag Team match. And they would go against Kelly, Beth Phoenix, Gail, Kim, Eve Torres, Natalia, AJ Lee, and Caitlyn. They go to the ring, and out comes WWE Divas Champion Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Melina, Maurice, Tamina, Rosa, and Alicia. Their opponents out next are led by Kelly for some 7-on-7 Divas action. Kelly starts things out with Brie Bella. Brie immediately tags in Rosa. Kelly leaps on top of her and goes to work. Kelly then takes Rosa to the corner, stomps on her, and does a stink face. Kelly with a bulldog now and a 2 count on Brie, breaks up the pin. This brings out all the Divas in the ring for a brawl. They end up on the floor except Kelly and Rosa. Kelly hits her leg drop finisher for the pin and the win. Classic Divas match, huh? After the match, Eve Torres takes the mic and says, last night the Tony Awards were in New York. Eve says that they should do a Divas tribute to Broadway. Team Kelly gather in the middle of the ring and kick their legs like the Rockettes. Well, I missed that little segment. Okay, I was eating my supper. My supper was boneless ribs. What do you call it? Scalloped potatoes, peas and carrots. Delicious. Okay, after that match, Cole and Booker talk about WWE Tough Enough. Cole leads us on to the video from last week where Steve Austin announced Andy as the winner. They show Andy getting slapped by Vince McMahon. It's done by Stone Cold. Then they cut to backstage down with Austin and Andy. Austin is hyping him up. Austin hands Andy a beer and they toast. CM Punk walks up and Austin introduces Andy to him. Punk mocks Andy. Austin asks Andy to step out for a minute. And that was his end of Raw segment. Austin asks Punk if he wants a beer. Punk keeps answering him, what? Punk says he came to give Austin a breathalyzer. Punk asks Austin if he can say the alphabet backwards. Austin says he can whip Punk's ass backwards. Punk says he actually came to thank Austin for setting something in motion that will change the landscape in WWE forever. Austin says Nexus isn't allowed at ringside tonight. Punk says he can get it done by himself. Austin says he's going to make an announcement to the world right now, and we'll see Punk later. Austin walks off, and we go to commercial. Back from break, and you see Stone Cold coming to the ring, driving his ATV. Austin enters the ring and says it's been a hell of a Monday Night Raw, and thanks everyone for coming. Austin is interrupted by the email alert. Cole timidly goes to read the GM's announcement. Austin said he's getting sick and tired of the anonymous GM interrupting the flow of his show. Cole says that the GM says Austin did a fair job in his absence this week, but all good things must come to an end. Anonymous GM says he will be back next week on Raw. Austin says he's still the GM tonight, so he has an announcement about next week. Austin says he might not be the GM, but there will be another 3-hour show, and it will be all about the power of the people. Fans will pick the matches, the stipulations, and everything. The GM erupts it again and again and again, and the chime is pissing Austin off. Austin goes to the podium. Well, Cole runs off, and so Stone Cold destroys the podium, and he brings the laptop to ringside, pours beer all over it, up the rampway, and Austin drives his ATV over it, misses the first time, comes back, then he rolls over it backwards, backs over it, before driving off to the back. Okay, Austin runs back down the ring for some more beer, thanks to fans in Long Island. And they go to ringside where Lawler and Booker T lead us up into another mock press conference with President Obama for capital punishment. This time, SmackDown stars like Christian, Cody Rhodes, Sheamus, Great Khali, and Hornswoggle are asking the questions. Well, Khali can't speak, all he goes, and that was the best part of it. Christian asked him to come tonight. Here's the main event of CM Punk versus John Cena, and that's up next after the break. Back for commercial, out comes CM Punk for tonight's main event. WWE Champion Cena is out next. What a mixed reaction. Bell rings, and here we go. They lock up, and Punk goes behind Cena. With a reversal, Cena breaks free from the hold as the crowd does dueling chants for and against Cena. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. They lock up again, and Punk applies a headlock, taking Cena to the mat. They go back and forth. Punk goes for the GTS, but Cena slides out. More back and forth action, and the fans still are very much behind it. Punk suplexes Cena on the ropes and kicks Cena out to the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Cena's fighting Punk off until Punk locks in an abdominal stretch. Cena fights out of it. Punk kicks out of the ring again. Punk leaps over the top to the floor onto Cena with a crossbody. Punk goes back in and climbs to the top turnbuckle. Punk leaps down to the floor again and lays Cena out. Punk mocks Cena now and brings it back in the ring. He goes, "You can't see me." Punk goes right into a body scissors and holds it for a few minutes. Cena finally fights out and locks on the STF, but Punk makes it to the ropes and breaks the hold. He breaks it by the count of 3. Punk with a drop kick and a 2 count. Punk with knees in the corner. Punk whips Cena hard into the corner and gets a 2 count. Punk uses the ropes and splashes Cena in them, covering him for another 2 count. Punk kicks Cena in the corner now and whips him across the ring. Punk charges with a high knee to the jaw. Punk goes for a bulldog, but Cena pushes him off. They both go up and go at it, or get up and go at it. Punk misses a clothesline, but Cena misses a flying shoulder. Cena hits the mat and falls out of the ring. Cena barely makes it back in the ring in time. Punk starts stomping away on Cena and takes him down for another 2 count. Punk springboards in for the apron, but Cena moves and Punk hits a mat. Cena ducks a clothesline and hits shoulders and a big backdrop on Punk. Lots of boos for Cena from tonight's crowd. R-Truth suddenly appears in the crowd and starts talking about all the little Jimmies in the crowd. Truth stops in front of one fan and offers to trade him a sip of water from the kid Cena hat. This distracts Cena, allowing Punk to come from behind and hit the GTS for the pin and win. Obviously, this was a non-title match. After the match, Punk celebrates and heads to the back. Truth makes his way to the ringside wearing the kid Cena hat. Cena tries to recover from the GTS and Truth waits behind him. Truth smacks Cena in the head with a plastic water bottle and lays him out with his finisher. Truth goes to ringside and brings the WWE title belt back in the ring. Truth tells Cena that he's going to beat him for the WWE title this Sunday, and that's the truth. Truth holds the WWE title up above Cena and as the crowd boos. Truth exits the ring with the WWE title as we go to replays. Truth holds up the title belt again and walks up the ramp with it as Cena trying to recover in the ring. Raw goes off the air with Truth looking crazy with the WWE title. And that concludes the Monday night results.